All right, Dave, you're going to welcome it or what?
Hey, man, I didn't know what you were doing. I see that this is Drive Safe Dave live on BCB, and it is a beautiful Wednesday morning. We got Rick
I
running
knew you were
remote.
going to say that. It's always a beautiful Wednesday morning when Drive Safe Dave starts it off. That's
Why
what
is
I
it
like
always
about
a
a Drive
beautiful
Safe
Wednesday?
Dave.
Could be raining.
Every day. Well, but you always start with it's a beautiful day, so I like that part. Hey, let me tell you something. So in Chicago, going through a conference up here in Chicago this week, and land yesterday. We get up here, and let me tell you, we've got some taxi drivers that need a little bit of BCB Live. They're all over the place. I mean, there was tailgating going on, there was in and out moving, everything going on. These guys have no safety sets whatsoever. You want to know about an industry that needs some help with their image?
I'm telling you, I will totally concur with that. My experience in New York City with cab drivers, bar none, a whole new set of rules, a whole new set of different rules. Don't use the same rules we use, whether it be traffic, people on the roads. They love their horn. They love. Did you get any horn action yesterday?
No, we're in Chicago. No horns going on here, but no seat belts going on either. Just like they just get in there, no seat belt, and the thing's beeping at them, and I'm like, holy cow! And it was nuts. And even another one last night. We're coming home with in an Uber, not a taxi, and the driver misses his turn, goes down the wrong way, and says, "Oh man, I apologize. I'm fatigued. I have another job." He's a ready route or something like that during the day shift, and it talks about fatigue, Drive Safe Dave, and it makes me just think about our drivers' fatigue, even inside the city, driving home, doing what we do here. Here it is right now. The guy's going home. He decides he needs to get some more money. He turns his Uber on, works a little bit, makes a wrong turn in the wrong lane with passengers in his vehicle, and boy, it's scary to think about fatigue, right? What fatigue does to you and to our drivers out there on the highway. Yesterday, Omar Sharif, right? He's the founder of Inflation Insights. I want to think about this or talk a little bit about this because we spend a lot of time talking inflation. And here he goes. He goes, it looks like some of these supply chain and inventory challenges are going to stick with us a bit longer. Is that a shocker? I mean, does that make news? Whose news does this make? I mean, this has been out forever. I mean, watch BCB Live, Omar. Well, you could have announced this news months ago.
And you speak of the inflation, and I was watching a really great interview last night with the Secretary of Treasury on CBS, and made some great points about how this may be transitory in pricing and everything, but how the American economy over the last year has shifted from services to basically goods due to a fear of not having what you need or not having what you want. And it moved away from the service sector and into the goods sector. And that's where a lot of this money has gone into and directed. And that's why we feel a lot of these supply chains, because even a small percentage swing makes a huge difference.
We're going to expect a lot of rain, and our third driving weather issue is the rain. Again, we mention all the time that typically statistics show that hydroplaning starts around 40 miles an hour. The risk starts getting to be real. Of course, you can hydroplane at 5 miles an hour if the water is deep enough, right? But typically during the rainstorms and the heavy rain, around 40 miles an hour, you start to increase your risk of hydroplaning. And that's for the big trucks. So just like we say, the speed limit signs are for the four-wheelers, and that the trucks have to even be slower. It works kind of just the opposite in the rain and the hydroplaning. The trucks can get through some things that the four-wheelers can't. But as we've seen in a lot of the videos, you all have the opportunity to slow traffic down. Now, you're not going to slow the idiots down. They're going to pass you whether you're doing 60 or whether you're doing 40. They're going to fly. But the difference is if you're going slower, you have more space and time to react when they lose control, because they're going to lose control. If they're driving 65, 70 miles an hour in heavy rain and you're driving 55 because of the risk of hydroplaning, they're going to hit a puddle somewhere, and you just got to make sure that you've created that space to where you're not going to be involved in that accident.
And as you talk about rain, and I like to talk about rain because when we talk about safety, because rain has its own definitive set of challenges, and there are many different types of rain that we encounter. It's not always just the heavy downpour. You can have it, rain can affect many things. Not only can it affect your visibility, right? In being able to see very far or knowing what's ahead, and not only change the surface of the road, correct? I mean, it can create an environment. Hydroplaning. All hydroplaning is when the tire no longer touches the road when there is water between the tire and the surface of the road. That's all hydroplaning is. And we have grooves in tires designed to channel that water so that rubber can continue to meet the road. But when you move fast enough or when it's deep enough, it does not allow enough of it to kick out. So that's
Correct.
really all hydroplaning is. It's just that when we no longer can make contact with the road and we lose friction. And when we lose friction, we lose it. And there's many ways. And we talk about it, Bobby, even a very light rain or a rain that just passed through you're fixing to go into that hit the road. Oil can come up and not mix with the water, but ride atop of the surface of it and create a very slick environment. You have so many different challenges when you talk about rain, and rain is probably the most adverse weather condition that every driver will encounter.
Yeah, and the thing, a lot of people associate snow, right, and ice with the fatal accidents and stuff, and they happen. But as we gave on Monday, during the snow, on average, yearly, 900 people, right? But in the rain, and this just shows, I think, for the lack of respect for the rain, because it's not that snow and ice, but 3,400 people, more than that, on average, die a year in fatal crashes that were during rainstorms. And about 357,000 are injured. And again, these numbers are way above the 976,000, the 900 killed and the 76,000 injured in snow.
Right.
So it just shows that, hey, when the snow starts falling on the ice, we kind of take notice a little bit more.
Correct.
But we kind of just accept the rain and not realize that it's more dangerous because people just don't slow down. I think is the big reason. And again, some of the most dangerous states in rain, and I gave them both today on the email, but the first one is the rate per million miles. And so West Virginia was number one with 34 fatalities, 34 and a half per million. Mississippi, 31, Alabama, 28, and South Carolina, Kentucky kind of tied at 27 and a half. But what was neat was when you go to the total number of fatalities, it's not really neat, but Alabama and South Carolina still make that list, with 114 and 106. But Georgia has 142 on average fatalities during rain events every year. North Carolina, number 2 at 134. So all four of these states have it in the hundreds per year that die due to fatalities or due to the rain. So it's just one of the things where I think there's a little lack of respect for what can happen out there when the rain. Everybody just treats it as rain. Well, it's not snow or ice. Well, the roads aren't slick. Well, as you said, that's just not the case. Sometimes it's worse.
Absolutely, and we need to be genuinely prepared to encounter those environments. And I always say how important it is that your wipers work well.
Yes.
I mean, you got to be able to see what's going on. You got to be able to make sure. And we tend to let go of not changing out the wiper. We wait until it's just bad, right? And really what we need to do is wipers have a lifespan. They need to be just like tires. They need to be used through their lifespan, and when they're done, they need to be changed, just like a tire.
Yep.
So when they wear out and they no longer, clean the roads, and cleaning your windshield is important because ice and bugs destroy blades.
Yes.
Foreign particles destroy blades.
Great.
So, anyway, we have a lot going on. I don't mean we could talk all day on rain, but go ahead, Bob.
No.
I apologize.
No, those are great points. And I was just going to say, how many drivers, ask yourself, how many times when you do your pre-trip, do you look at the windshield wiper fluid reservoir, right? We're coming in the winter months. You're going to
Every
need
time.
that for visibility. Morning, cool dude.
Hey, yeah. What you doing, Bobtastic? Drive safe, Dave. Hope you guys are having a good morning. What I was going to throw out there is most of your four-wheelers don't even read the signs.
Yep.
I mean, they're driving it was like 2 weeks ago. It's funny you guys are talking about this. I asked my wife, we're driving down the highway. I feel like I'm in a NASCAR car, holding on to the rail and everything. And I asked her, I said, "What that sign say back there?" "I don't know." I don't read the signs. Nobody pays attention to signs. You can't expect cars and pickup trucks and stuff to pay attention to the signs, you know. In our life, it's our life, our livelihood. So we read the signs, the yellow signs, the information signs, speed limit signs, no trucks left lane signs. We read all that. We get it. We drive the way you're supposed to. But don't expect everybody else around you to be doing the same thing. That's all I wanted to say. Thanks,
Great.
guys. Have a great morning.
Hey, thanks,
Great
Warren.
point.
Appreciate it.
Warren.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
You guys were talking about like New Jersey and New York. Well, I had the absolute pleasure of going to New Jersey yesterday and delivering, and you know, you were talking about everybody using their horns and stuff. Well, I just figured out that that's they're way up there in the Northeast. Just tell the other person that they love them. You know, just hey, love you too. You know, I heard more horns going off yesterday, and I was just like, "What is going on? Just slow down, people." And so then I got done delivering, went to a Love's off of 95, just south of New York City. And of course, they're out of power, but didn't know that until I pulled into the fuel island. And the driver next to me is having a meltdown because there's no power. And I tell you what, I never laughed so hard in my entire life watching a grown man cuss Loves because they don't have power because somebody else ran into an electric pole and cut the power off to them. I just like, dude, I hope you're not going to drive because you don't need to be driving. You are way too angry at life right now. But I tell you what, I got a kick out of it. It was...
That's when you walk over and said, "You know what you need? You need to tune into BCB Live."
Oh, well, you might want to wait till he's through after his tantrum. You might want to stay away from that.
I got what would help you. OV is tailgating, right? And then just back off, right? Here comes this truck. Getting right up, and you can see the speed reduction from this driver. Great job. Let him go.
We got a couple of crazies going on.
Yeah,
in this
you got
video.
that pickup truck jumps two.
And then jumps two again.
Yep. And
Look
comes
at
right
that.
back in.
Boom. Look
and
at
all
that.
the way to the left.
We got a NASCAR guy going around
Yep.
the outside turn, and then
Empty flatbed.
and then you got a
low boy.
step deck.
Step deck. Thank
There-
you.
Yes, sir.
Here again, you know, we're going to have somebody passing in a no passing zone. UPS, right? Can't do this. You know, and I think this looks just like the same stretch of highway that we see a lot of this going
287.
on. 287, yep.
Yeah. Up in
Um,
Colorado.
Yep. And so again, we've got to know your situation. Hey, people are going to do this. Back off, let them go. But great job by this driver not doing it.
Is that up by Two Butte? I'm just curious.
Hugo
Oh, Hugo. Okay.
just owning the space in front. Doesn't try to find the faster lane as traffic checks up. Able to stop. We talk about all the time. This is the perfect defensive driving maneuver. Look at all the traffic that goes flying by if they would have tried to make the quick lane change, right? You have to drive for the situation, but not to be able to change a lane, but to be able to stop because that is the safest option for you.
Good video, Bob.
Yeah, this is awesome. Great job by that driver. You know, start slowing a little bit sooner, but again, got some great speed and space. You can see everybody trying to get off. Just a good job. Able to look at the spacing we had when this driver had when they actually did stop to avoid the accident. Just a tremendous job at being defensive there.
Do you honk here?
Here again, stale green. Look at the driver slowing down.
Great job.
Just tremendous. Great job. That probably gets us, Sir Rick says, the BCB, right? Video of the day or
Yeah, stale green
Hall of
light out
Fame.
there.
Stale green
Stale green and
goes
there
to
it
yellow.
is. Oh,
You know,
and
now a lot of drivers would say, hey, I got a point of no return. But this is what we were talking about. When the speed is right and you're preparing for that, there is really a very small point of no return. And this driver basically almost eliminated it just by being prepared to stop.
Good job.
Tremendous job